else, that's always a good thing. If not, and you have something that was exciting and positive that happened in your business, that would be fun to share. Let's do that now.
I can go.
Wendy.
Shocking. But I should have something.
Wendy has something positive to share.
But we are sponsors of CREO Art and Dance Conservatory, and they've started to invite their sponsor supporters to come and have a table at their open houses. This is a new development, and Paige told me about it Saturday, and he's on vacation this week. His birthday tomorrow. So I went yesterday, and I called Tanya on Monday and said, guess what, on Tuesday I have an open house and I'd like some materials. Do you think you could help me out? And her team created these beautiful things around the themes I wanted that had dance icons on them, and they were great content, and she did them, in less than 24 hours for me. So wow. Huge gratitude for them for helping us, just kind of do something on a dime and get after it.
So for the agents that don't know who Tanya is, you want to let us know?
Yeah. Tanya Sample is the lender, our in-house lender with New American Funding, and she is exceptional. She's really good, and she has a team that does marketing materials for you, and will do list report stuff for your listings. And so just in addition to being an awesome lender, she just does a lot to help make your business better. So feel free to check her out.
Good. That's good. Thank you. All right, who else has something positive or something they want to share?
I got a few. Okay. So in the midst of Ben getting married on Saturday, which is his own thing, Ben and Alex are still showing up and like getting us the stuff we need and keeping us organized. They're not just like running away like, nope, we'll see you in 2 weeks. So yeah. I'm very thankful for them not just disappearing on us. I don't know if we've introduced.
Let's do that. I think that would be good.
I'm thankful for them for cooperating with us during this too. Okay. That was the reason I'm talking about it. But Rachel and Courtney are 2 new members of our team for the Dessert Property Twins. So we moved from 3 people to 5 people, which is awesome. Rachel is a all-purpose agent, buyer's agent on our team, so she's doing all that kind of stuff. And Courtney is our new listing and marketing coordinator. So our admin partner is getting a little bigger. They're like, yeah, 2 of them have been rock stars so far. We're hitting like almost the month mark for the both of you. So it's been super, super cool, and you two are doing great, and we're really happy to have you. So yeah,
thank you.
What's going on for us? Very hiring people.
Yeah. Well, what you don't know probably is the Dessert spent like the first 7 years of their business needing help. And they never got it until eventually, probably 3 years of everyone pushing them. They hired Jacob, and that changed everything. So I expect that the addition of you two is going to be the same sort of positive effect. So welcome. Let us know if you ever need anything. Right? So awesome. These ladies are in the office like every day. So if you're around and you need help, they're there too. So go ahead, Heather.
Leah Distel has her hand raised. Leah,
hi, Leah.
Can you hear us?
Oh, hi. Thank you, Rick, for helping me get my sign. That was very helpful. I also want to bucket fill Derek because the poor guy is trying to be on vacation, and he just gets a nonstop, constant chatter from me, questions, and is so helpful. So I appreciate that very much. And to piggyback on you, Wendy, Tanya's fantastic for all the marketing. People really appreciate it. So those are my 3 fills. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Leah.
I have another one. Yeah. Bethany Nelson yesterday taught her 36 touch and like handed out materials. Not only is she a killer presenter, but she was just unbelievably transparent and shared all of her resources, which was like a gift to every one of us who are trying to figure out how to more systematically connect with the people in our world. And I just want to thank her for taking the time and for sharing exactly what she's doing.
Yeah, it looked like she had really good attendance here and on Zoom. And then I peeked in here afterwards, and she was in here still talking to a group of people. So yeah, that's pretty impressive. Yeah, she's obviously very busy. And
they did over 100 homes last year. Yeah, over 100 properties, and she's still taking time to share with us.
Was it recorded? I wanted to get there. It wasn't recorded.
She couldn't record it because she has some.
Oh,
but she would share it with us.
Okay.
I'll do happy hour with her or something. All right, what's next on the agenda?
Next on the agenda, we have, Minnesota title.
Oh, there's a barbecue today,
Yes.
right after the team meeting. Thank you to Minnesota Title for doing that. Is there someone here? who
Mark
gonna
was
say-
here, but I bet he's on setting up.
Yeah,
Mark is out setting up?
Yeah, so if we can keep our eye out for him, but
Yeah, maybe he can pop back in here, tell us a little bit about Minnesota Title. Have any of you used Minnesota Title? They're downstairs? Okay. And you know Shane Joseph, it's Shane Joseph's wife as well, right?
Melanie is
Melanie.
unbelievable.
I learned that after the last.
She's amazing.
Yeah, I will say that, you know, Sherry and I have used, well, I've used the same closer for 23 years. Yeah, it's been crazy and she's amazing, but once in a while she goes on vacation. So we did use Melanie, which is like literally like the first time in 23 years I've used someone else and she was quite extraordinary. So that was good because we have a very high standard having used the same person who's one of the best in the business. So that was very good. My Minnesota Title, thank you. So everybody go to that. I mean, free lunch.
Right after the
talk
meeting.
and Socialize a little bit. Really
Yep.
fun. So great. Okay. Upcoming trainings, mock listings and buyer presentation tomorrow at the Lakes office, and that's
also
Emily
Zoom.
and Jen.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah. Say that again.
And it'll also be on Zoom.
Also on Zoom. Okay. Yeah, that would be, I know you guys, who was here for Bethany's training in person yesterday? Okay, does that make a little bit of a difference? It is. If you're going to go to something like this, I would encourage you to try to get there. Because I would imagine those two ladies are fantastic. So I'd imagine it'd be really good if you got to go.
And that's at 11 o'clock, right?
All trainings have been changed to 11 a.m. So it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 11 to 12.
Will they record that too, you think, or not?
They probably will record that one. They generally do.
Okay.
It's just we had some information that couldn't be recorded yesterday.
And then Tuesday, the 16th in Edina, not too far from here, that office, mega agent interview with Shannon. Is that Lord? Is it Lord? Okay, Lord. Shannon Lord. Cool.
All right. And then,
That's Coach Debbie Frapp on Wednesday, the 17th.
so can I say another thing about that? So next Wednesday, instead of our regular team meeting, Debbie Frapp is coming in. She's a MAPS coach that coaches our general manager, our PC coaches, and our TLs. Yeah, and she's doing fierce conversations in the changing market. So it's all for the agents, and it's going to be scripting and some conversations on the current market that we're in with some of the confusion and how the market is. So I really think it's going to be a good class to attend to. We're going to send out some more information about it with a little
That
bit.
is in lieu of our team meeting, it sounds like. It's 11
Yeah.
o'clock here.
Yeah, 11 o'clock on
Obviously,
Wednesday.
If
in
you're
lieu
going to
of
attend a team meeting, we might get a little bit more out of it. Than
Yeah,
maybe
it's gonna be a good one to come, and she'll be doing all 5 market centers and on Zoom. What did you say?
Since you would probably get more out of it than you would Rick Rama. And then
And I will tell you, Debbie Frapp also was Mark King's coach.
Yeah.
He talks
Really?
about, our president of KW, she was his coach
When
and
he
called
was a
him out
TL.
on something, and he talks about how Debbie Frapp changed his life.
Yeah.
How she helped coach him. So she is has experience coaching top people. This is not.
So I want to, in the room, all these fabulous people in the room, raise your hand if you've had any difficulties with conversations recently with the changing market. Just about everyone, unless you're entitled, then it's not really a problem. All right, what about Bradford Tax Solutions coming up Thursday, August 18th via Zoom? Do we know anything about that?
That'll be more, be some ideas on
Configure your business so that you're less taxes.
yes, yes,
write-offs.
deductions and things like that. Yep.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, now you guys, if any of you like on a team can attend that, it's always a good thing because there's so much. If you guys don't have a professional tax accountant or you haven't been doing this for years, there's an extraordinary amount of tax advantages of running your own business, right? I mean, and it's really important to know that. And there's also tax sheltering that's really important, having an LLC, having that protection. So in the event that something does go awry in the future, you've got the protection of the assets that you've developed over the years. So very important. All right, what else?
Awesome. Now it's the Culture Award.
Culture Award presented by Madeline Moon. We have a
Yep,
video.
we have a video for that because Maddie will explain where she is, but she is not here. So I am going to hit play. And hopefully,
We can hear her.
fingers crossed that it all works.
There we go.
Okay.
How does this make you feel?
Honored
Okay,
and honored.
good.
I love Maddie. She's been really fun to work with and to just encourage.
And how many years experience do you have as a realtor?
It depends on how you count. My mom was a real estate broker and my dad was a plumber. And so we flipped houses all through high school.
Nice.
High school. And then in early 2000s, I appraised houses for about 3 years. And in 2004, I started selling.
Nice. I only ask that so that you guys know she's obviously a great resource here and a big part of the culture. That's why she's getting this award. So she must be pretty nice to talk to. So if you do have questions, for sure, you know, Colleen's here, ask her. She's got a ton of experience. So thank you.
Well,
Thanks.
that means a lot to me coming from you. So
Oh,
thank you.
Oh, yay. Okay. Now I think I've got to. Oh, there she is. There she is. Okay, so these are.
Congratulations. We've got Alex had his first listing and first closing.
At
That's-
KW.
Yeah. Andy Hackman is first listing and Chantel Jordahl, first listing and first closing.
Sold sign from you. We give you a sold rider to take with you. So remember to come pick that up from us.
That's awesome.
Yep. Mhm. Okay. Oh, the broker. Jim. Is Jim on Zoom? This may be incorrect.
That's
Rama,
okay.
I'm sorry.
Well, let me ask.
You are a broker.
I am a broker. So does anybody have anything serious that's come up recently that they might have gotten in trouble for or worried about getting in trouble for? Or a little bit of an ethical dilemma?
I know Jim's been getting a lot of phone calls with asking him questions. You know what? I don't, he records his calls and he's got quite a few lately. So it's just, you know, when you have questions, it's so much better to reach out to a broker.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've been a broker for 21 years and I probably call John Butler, what, 3 times a week? So still week.
He's shy.
A lot of stuff. No, I got questions. I still got questions. So yeah, so that helps out. All right, Jim.
Bethany did say though some interesting things because she hosts a lot of events. And she did mention yesterday about having vendors involved and that we really should check with the Department of Commerce and stuff on the rules and regulations with having vendors involved and how much money can be given and things like that.
Yeah,
So
and that's
definitely do your
actually-
research.
That's a good point to bring up because it's not only do we have rules as realtors, as licensed realtors, but the vendors, whether it's a title company or whether it's a lending company that's got RESPA guidelines and other things that they have to follow, they're going to have their rules too. So, and they're very different.
They
You
are.
know, so they may be able to contribute money towards something that we can't. You know, so that's important. Same thing holds true for if you are going to do anything with your commission or you're going to help out with the post inspection. If any money is going to be transferred within parties of the transaction and you are questioning that, you know, what you can and can't do there, make sure you call Jim or John before you actually make it. All right. moving on.
And I think now we're going to start with our numbers and our
Awesome.
congratulations,
Okay.
our rankings.
All right, so top individuals, single agents, listings taken, Jelena Moe. volume, Nagel with I'm pretty sure you just sold that. So, yeah, so that's good. Jillian, what, 900 with 2? Agents taking these listings, look at these numbers. Huge, listing prices. So that's good. Top individuals, closed volume, Jacob Milton, almost 2 million. Top teams, this is 2
agents.
2 agents. KW Commercial and Vision, you know who that is? Brian Ertel and Royce Sherman.
Quick throw in something about Royce.
Yep.
Royce just had his largest closing ever this week on a $7 million building.
That young man is a superstar. He's just doing really well. So that's good. So that was $1,112,000 last month for them. DC Homes, that's Dan Cleve, had 2 listings. And then Steinbach had 1, Exceptional Home Team had 1. Then listings taken volume. All right, closed volume, top teams. What is this? This is 2 of them, right? Okay.
And so remember, Desert's moved into a group.
Yes.
So they're no longer in the teams.
Yeah. So Steinbach had $1,008,000. That's great. That's really good. Top groups. Okay, so listings taken, Strobel Group with 9, Srempa Team. You can see where people are at. If you take their numbers and divide it by what they're doing, you can see where the sales prices are as well. So, and then Stedman Commercial at $1,008,000.
Those are some good numbers there.
Those are good numbers. Yeah, for listings taken.
Yeah.
Last month, that's good.
Yeah. Really good.
8.
Yeah.
Where did 8 come from?
Ah.
Go ahead. What's next? He doesn't know. He shook his head like he has no idea, Tony said, where the 8 came from. So closed volume in July, Homer's Group at 12 million. In a month. Yeah. Last month. All of that. Molly. All right, let's break this down. What do we got going on here? So
This is
I know this is
our area, the MLS, and then us. So our area kind of consists of the cities on the bottom,
okay.
and it's the MLS is in the middle, and then the KWLMR numbers. Yeah.
So closed units, KW is down. Let's just hit these. So closed units, KW is down 20%. Closed volume, we're down, and then in relation, I suppose.
This is year over year. Or is it year to date?
Last 12 months.
Last 12 months.
Last 12 months over previous 12 months.
Last 12 months over previous 12 months.
So explain that to me. How is that?
But it says July. So it's just for the month?
I think because it's
At the
LTM
as-
and PTM above the closed units thing. That's
Yeah.
last 12 versus previous 12.
That's as of the end of July. So it would be July of, or August 1, 2021 through July 30th, 2022.
So are we down 20% in 12 months, or are we down 20% from last July? Like
20%
from where we were at?
Last 12 months.
Okay, so down 20%, whereas the MLS is down half that, and the area is down about half
Isn't
that.
it for the month though? What is the M? LTM.
It's last 12 months.
Last 12 months
Versus
versus the previous 12 months.
yes.
So it's the last 12-month period versus the previous 12-month period.
Just for seasonality.
And then close.
It's a decent amount of time.
Yeah.
It's not like we're just looking at 1 month.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's more validity to it, in other words.
Right, that's what I was
A longer period of time. Go ahead, Colleen.
How much of our business is not in that area? My business is is often not in that area.
You know, it's something we've really talked about, and see, this is a report that we get from Broker Metrics.
Right.
And we send in so many zip codes, and that's what they take our area from.
Okay.
So it's definitely something that we could look into, changing those zip codes and seeing if we wanted to increase that area, change that area, what we want to do. So that's something maybe we and the ALC can even talk about that and see if that's something we can look at.
Yeah,
But
because it
those are
is.
the cities that are included. Yep, that's it. Yep.
Very limited.
More discouraging than it needs to be.
It could be.
But if it's all of the MLS, it's almost the same percentage down anyway.
For the MLS.
Yeah.
The MLS.
Well, MLS is only
It's
down
9.5 versus 8.88.
for the area. Oh, but and also, yeah.
I'm just saying the entire MLS was down 9.5.
I see. And then the KWLM, is that our whole office then?
Yes.
That would be all of the areas.
Yes.
Yes, that's every.
Got
Yeah,
it.
sorry.
Okay.
That's
yeah.
us compared to
I
all.
was reading it wrong.
Okay.
Okay, so
Are
let's,
we measuring just what sales and listings we've done in those cities and those zip
No.
codes?
And that's what makes us down? I mean, are we down in
That's the
just
question.
those cities?
I don't.
Are we measuring what we've done as a brokerage,
In just those
Total.
areas?
or are we doing what we've done as a brokerage just in those?
I imagine it's like KWLM is everything compared to our old everything. Area is that area compared to the old area. Like for us, it's the everything statistic. And then for the area, I think it would just be like area this year versus area last year. If I had to guess, that's how I'd do it if I was pulling these. But
Well, I
look at,
my understanding was that it was
That's
our
Wendy's.
brokerage versus the MLS versus the other brokerages in our area.
yes.
But then I was told at one point that no, it was just measuring what's in those cities. So that really clarified. Because if it's as a brokerage, what we're doing, it includes, the listings we just took in Apple Valley and sold in Coon Rapids.
Yeah.
And
well, Jan has
Yes.
Eden Prairie,
Yeah,
Chaska,
right.
Shakopee, Prior Lake, I mean, everything around us, Independence, Minnetrista, there's a lot. So it could be a little bit of a misguided perception as to, where we're actually at. With that said,
But
let's
this is comparing us against ourselves in that first column.
Yeah.
yes.
And we're down a lot.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, correct.
Is what I'm saying. Like we're down
Yes.
twice as much as the market
yes,
in general, which is my main takeaway. And
Yes.
sometimes it's 3 times the amount with written contracts.
why is that?
And contracts written volume is like 10 times.
So why, does anyone have an idea why? We come up with some thoughts around why are we down more than the market? Because in the past 2 years, we were up more than the market, right? As we were looking through these numbers, pretty exciting meetings. Everyone's like, wow, we're 5 to 10% above the market. We were bringing these numbers to listing appointments. I was, because we were ahead of the market, right?
Mhm.
So what's changed here?
Well, I mean, that's fairly reflective of my business. And I'm close to half of what it was last year.
Okay. And do you know?
We ended last year with around 70 million, and my guess is we end this year around 45 million.
Okay.
But I don't know. I mean, I'm not working as much as I was last year either.
Okay. This is, and that's a good point. That's sort of what one team, one big team's, perspective on what's happening right now. This is all of us collectively, as agents as well. So is everybody's business down a little bit? And if it is down, I think one of the things to consider here is that it's not, we're down more than the market is. you know, and then other brokerages are. So there obviously is something that can be done here to be in these categories. I mean, we are, you know, and have always been extraordinary agents. There's a whole bunch of ordinary agents out there, and we are the extraordinary ones. We are the ones that are supposedly more educated, have got more resources, the largest and most successful real estate company in the country. So our numbers should always be better than the other offices.
I think the only thing that was missed in there is that lead measure of lead generation, and I think all the other brokerages are just beating us by the way that they're lead generating.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only difference. They're not better than us. They're not more skilled. They're not anything, but they are proving in those numbers that they're lead generating better than we are. And I think that's the only thing we really need to adjust. And that's the number one thing that I've not been doing this year. I mean, I've not been lead generating. Jerry,
For us, right?
I mean, if it shows up, I take it and I do it. But if I haven't really been out looking for them.
Did anyone else feel that way? A lead generating, Colleen, super experienced agent, Sherry, Rick. I mean, not a lot of lead generating this year, which obviously was, you know, a big difference. So that does beg the question, why? I know the answer for us. You know, why have we not been lead generating nearly as much?
Has anyone else been feeling burnt out a lot recently, or like even just burnt out over the past a little bit over the past like 6 months or so?
What time of day?
Yeah, great point. But I could just say, like, after last year of a lot of like making hay while the sun shines and adjusting for all of that, now all of a sudden this year it's, you know, agent count shot by like 100,000 in the U.S. in the past year. So like you're competing a little more for it. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, now it's not as easy to do the things we're doing, and we're still trying to do them. But yeah, I know that's one thing I've been struggling with. And
yeah, and Desert's by far best year was when? Last year. Our team was by far the best year that we had was last year. You know, so this is an after effect to running. I mean, Tony, you guys had a phenomenal year last year. You know, so
it's probably our third best or
in the whole overall. Yeah, that's good. And I think Strempus hit number 1 last year. So that is something they're obviously doing well again this year. Maybe there's some lead generating going on there, you know, that we don't see. Go ahead, Kurt.
What are the most effective ways for lead generating?
Well, I guess that depends on who's doing it, and you know, there's a lot of variables there. I mean, if you were to go to Mega Camp, what's kind of cool is at Mega Camp they'll split it up in all these different categories. They'll say you could farm a neighborhood. Let's just say you want to farm your neighborhood, Manuela, right? Unless someone else is doing it, but just that specific neighborhood. That's one idea. You can farm the neighborhood. You can do networking events. A lot of people do that. They join networking groups, right? Making the cold calls of just expired and canceled listings. That's a huge one. Working your database. What else are we doing for prospecting?
So one of the big things that that Command has for a tool is those monthly neighborhood nurtures they have. It's one of the smart plans. You can just set people on, send it, and be done. Those have been a super helpful tool for us lately because now we're just sending out monthly emails with literally no effort. And that's great because now we can draft an email once a month. We have our marketing coordinator doing that. And we're sending out emails to people every 2 weeks. So getting 26 emails from us a year. And that like is 26 parts of our like 36 touch. And then if you end up calling those people a few times a year, hey, do you like that email I sent you? Whatever the script ends up being. All of a sudden people are thinking of you 30, 40 times a year. So
and all that and that neighborhood nurture smart plan is about their neighborhood that they live in. So they're actually, you know, they're very interested in that because that's all the sold and listing detailed information in their area.
Was the question geared around just like, are you just starting out?
I am, but I'm also very curious why we're not tapping more technology. I mean, what I've observed so far is let's expand our sphere of influence. Let's the smart plans. I'm wondering about the smart plans. Yeah. Are they fully integrated as they should be into Command?
Yes, I can. I'm the
technical. We're taking advantage of digital marketing, and we should too. I haven't really noticed anybody around the agency yet that's really tapping it. I have a little bit of a digital marketing background, so
yeah, you seemed like that when you were starting to talk that way. It sounded like, from my perspective, just listening to the responses based on the question, is I wanted more clarification in the question, just because if I were new starting out, those responses, I would be at like total overwhelm. And I'd be like, okay, you just listed all the things and I don't know what to do. But what I would say really simply to answer that question is you need to get in front of people and talk to them. It doesn't matter how you do it. It doesn't matter whether you go door knock or you do, you know, you generate some source, or if any area of interest that you have, no matter what you like, just go do that and make sure it's interacting with people. And as long as you're doing that, you're going to ask them, well, where do you live? And then that's going to spill into a real estate conversation. 5 to 10 of those conversations every day. All you need. All you need. It doesn't matter what the area is. As long as it's with people.
Derek and I just had this conversation a couple days ago. He said golf leagues. He loves to golf. And so he's like, I think I'm going to join maybe 3 golf leagues, and real estate always comes up. It's something I love, golf and real estate. So I'm making these connections every day when I go out. And the other thing for him is the gym. So do something you really like and get in front of people and have those conversations.
Well, you know, I mean, I would say just along those lines, and I appreciate that input, Sherry and Tony. You know, I know from my experience with Sherry that she's got people at your Hy-Vee grocery store that have referred you business, multiple clients from Lifetime Fitness, you know, working out with an older gentleman that's there who's just a huge advocate for her, financial advisor that you work with, you know, people that you hang out with, your husband's work, athletes and stuff, just a variety of people. And it is about having those conversations. These guys do it naturally. I don't like to talk about real estate when I'm not doing real estate, because I'm always doing freaking real estate. So I try to be careful with that sometimes. That's only me. It's problematic though, because I don't get the business that Sherry does and that Tony does, because I don't always have those conversations, you know, start talking about houses. And it is fun for people. I mean, pretty much everybody, when you're out socially, are going to want to talk about housing. It exists. It's a necessity. It's just something that people talk about, and it's relatively interesting.
Or they want to talk about your job. You say, hey, like the script that I've heard every single time is you ask the person how their job is, and they say this and this, and then they ask you, oh, how's your job going? And then you're in. Done. Easiest thing on the planet. The other big note with that, the Deserts get Ben and Alex, the Desert Property Twins on the numbers earlier, they get a lot of success from those things we send out, but especially twice a year, they have a nautical night on Tonka Bay, and they have like an event where they like rent out a cruise ship and they bring a bunch of people on, and they have a bunch of people and they talk to them on that. And then in the winter, they have like a holiday party. Every single year they do those 2 events, and all of their friends, all of their people, all of their Facebook friends know what's going on every year, and they plan for it. And that's a great time where they just host an event. It's all a tax write-off, and like they talk to 150, 200 people in like a night. And that's their big thing that they go to talk about, that they do, and it's a lot of success for them. So, and the last note on this, I know it's not about lead gen, I'm gonna wrap it up. For our normal emails, like our new listing emails, things like that, we see about a 4% click rate with a 40% open rate. For the monthly neighborhood nurtures, we get about a 60% open rate and a 9% click rate. Those are way better in terms of interaction and engagement. People actually care, they're actually looking at them, and you can see what they're looking at. So if you are interested in those, please talk to me, because we've gotten a ton of value out of that, and I think a lot of other people could here too, if it works for them. So, and
Techie, Kurt, talk to Techie.
Thank you. Could you do like a little meeting here and teach anybody who wanted to come?
Absolutely.
And then open it so that we can see it on Zoom too?
Yes.
Maybe you can talk to others.
Yeah, no, don't. Well, let's instead of looking at all these high numbers at the moment, let's look at what's happening in our market here, kind of collectively overall, and seeing what's happened here. And this is obviously over last year. Let's talk a little bit about the dynamics of the market and these conversations that we're having with people now. Okay, because last year, what happened? We had a huge supply and demand issue. We had very low interest rates, extremely aggressive, buyers, and no houses to sell, right? It just created a big market frenzy, and things went really fast, all the way through probably March. Then what happened? Rates, and 2 things. Interest rates went up 3% in 6 weeks. And what else happened? What happened with the stock market during that same time?
Yeah.
Crypto tanked, right? Stock market went way down at the same time. So you got two issues at the same time after March, April, May, June, right? You've got two issues. One, media telling us that the sky is falling, everything is negative, the whole entire housing market is going to crash, interest rates are, you know, exorbitantly raising extremely fast, faster than we've seen in the past, trying to adjust and try to make, you know, make some sense out of this. So with that said, what happened with our buyers? What did our buyers do? They decided to take a break, right? Take a break. This is too much. I mean, we did have a little bit of an after effect with all the buyers who were writing offers and weren't getting the houses starting to wear out, then finding out that now they have to lower their price and be in the same environment. So it made sense, right? Made sense to lose some buyers. What were our sellers saying in those 3 or 4 months? So this is April, May, June. What were your sellers saying? What are the sellers saying at that point? They're seeing what's happening in the market. You know, you're going to a listing appointment, you're getting a house ready, you're going to put the house on. Did anybody have any sellers who said, hey, we're not going to list now? No.
He said, I'm not going to list for less.
Okay, I'm not going to list for less. Or they said, we're going to put it on and we expect multiple offers because that's what's been happening. That's what everybody's telling us, right?
What our neighbor got 4 months ago.
So we had what existed, and what we're seeing here is a natural decline in the market. I mean, it was bound to happen, right? We last year were like super excited. As long as this can hold on, let's let it hold on as long as possible. It wasn't great for everybody, but it was certainly a market in which we were able to sell stuff very, very fast, you know, and have really high production numbers. So this shifted across the board. Now what's happening? What are you guys seeing right now? Okay, how are you seeing that? Jacob says a little bit of a leveling out. You know,
so I think like competition has been adjusting. I haven't seen a ton of it. I'm an admin, but also mortgage rates kind of going way up, and then they're starting to come down just a little bit over the past couple of days. And it's just kind of like, okay, there's been a lot of crazy stuff going on. Let's all take a second, but I have no clue what's happening next, and if that'll stick around till the end of the month, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone else? What are you feeling about what's happening with the market right now?
You see increases in inventory, available inventory because of the less buyers. I would assume there's an effect on more inventory if the sellers.
Yeah, I would say that I don't believe, if you looked at the numbers, there's any more inventory. It's pretty consistent. We have less buyers, but still. So if you had 10 buyers for one house in February, now you've got 4 buyers for one house, maybe 2 buyers for one house, right? Just generally speaking, but that one house still is one house. I mean, there's just not a lot of supply still. That actually is, I believe that's one of the reasons why this market is still moving, because we still do have a supply and demand issue. A lot of people are shaking their heads in agreement. I also agree with Jacob that we are seeing a little bit of a leveling out. We're seeing what I would consider a little bit more of a fair market. And by fair market, I mean that when we're going out with our buyers and we're looking at a house that's listed at $400,000, the expectation is that they might be able to get that house at $400,000 or $405,000 if it goes into multiple offers. But the expectation would be that the multiple offers are 2 competing offers, not 7 or 10. How do we shift to that? What are some of the things we need to take into consideration that we were doing in February that we shouldn't be doing now? Price a house to sell. If you are on the listing side, that is absolutely number one. I'm going to say a phrase, okay? Remember this phrase, fair market value. List the house at fair market value. When you run comps in the house, Jordan, you have a thought on that?
A couple thoughts.
Go ahead.
No, it's fine.
You'll check.
I'm agreeing with you.
You're not agreeing with
I am agreeing with you.
Okay. So, yeah, well, we haven't done it on everyone, have we? So, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, so we got caught in the mix there on the way out, but on the way out of this crazy market. So Colleen goes to a listing appointment and she comps everything out. She's very good at it. And if you're not good at it, then go and ask Colleen and she'll show you how to comp it out, or Tony or somebody else with a ton of experience. House comps out at $400,000. Okay, but what she's comping it against is 5 sales that happened that closed in March that all went into multiple offers and sold for 10 to 12% over. Now she's smart and she saw that. So she's paying attention to the fact that these houses all got jacked 10 to 12%. And they all closed in March in the frenzy. Now, my house counts out goes at 400. So I'm going to list it at 400, not at 420, not at 430, not trying to get more. She's going to list it at what she believes it will appraise for and fair market value. And then the next thing she's going to do is a different conversation with your seller. I'm going to tell you what the conversation was. Conversation was in February. Okay, here's what's going to happen. We are coming soon from Monday to Friday. On Friday, showings will start at 8 a.m. That's the first availability for showings. Anticipate between 20 and 25 showings between Friday and Saturday. We will have multiple offers on Saturday, and we will sell your house on Saturday evening, and we'll talk about why we don't wait till Sunday or Monday to do that. That's what the conversation was with every one of my listings in February. Okay, what is it now, Colleen? 400,000. Help us out here. What's going to happen?
We're going to watch and see how many showings you get. We're going to make sure that you are priced right. If you don't have 10 showings in the first week and a half, and you don't get an offer after 10 showings, then we're going to look at your price and make sure that we price you competitively, because we're in a shifting market.
Well, what I just heard you say, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you don't expect me to have 25 showings and multiple offers.
You are correct.
Well, the other agent who was just here said that that's the way the market is right now. I mean, she said even though she's new, she'll be available to, you know, to just do this listing. And she told me that, hey, you know, this is going to, the market's always, you know, on a move, and it's still moving. You know, why are you saying differently?
Well, because I'm not new, because I've been through markets that have been up and I've been through markets that are down. And right now, you're at the top of the roller coaster, and there's a little bit of a pause. And we want to price your house so that it sells here, rather than chasing that price down. Because if you overprice it here, you're going to chase that price all the way down. And I can't tell you how fast or how soon that'll happen.
Interesting. So you sound really smart. So what I'm hearing you say is that if we list it at the right price, let's say 400, and it's supposed to sell in that 390 to 400, we'll sell it at 390 to 400. But if I want to list it where I want to list it at 420 and we're wrong, and all those people come through the house and don't buy it because it's overpriced, and everyone's a little bit, what are buyers right now? Are they a little skeptical? They've watched prices go up for a year and a half straight. And the interest rates are now all wonky, you know? On Friday, the interest rate, last week, the interest rates dropped 1%. They dropped from 6 and a little more than 1%, from 6 and a quarter to 5.1. On Friday, they were 5.1 for a 30-year fix. On Monday, they were 5.4. So the interest rates are all over the board. Buyers are a little bit skeptical. So if we list high, buyers are skeptical. You're going to have to reduce the price to $399 and then potentially again to $380. And I'm going to get a lot less potentially.
That is exactly true. And if we can price you instead of right at 400, just slightly under it,
yeah,
then your house is going to be one that's going to be shown quickly and will sell quickly, and you'll get things. Your market time is going to matter, because right now, if you are on the market for very long, the buyers who come through are going to say, I wonder what's wrong with this house.
Yeah.
Instead of coming in with their rosy glasses on, they're going to come in with their inspector glasses on looking for a problem.
Wow.
And we don't want that.
Wow. I think I'm going to hire you. Good job, Wendy.
The other thing is, someone told me recently on our KW app, if you just go to kw.com and search your area, it's going to pull up all the active listings, and you'll be able to see. And then you can say, and you can do this even on your one on your phone. So I just did it for where I am right now. It was 10 plus listings. And then I hit price reductions. There are 5 price reductions right now. So if you're saying that this market is shifting, where do you think those people who've done the price reductions are sitting in the market? I want to answer that question. I'm also seeing something with condition. Houses that are beautiful, that look like HGTV was here, they're selling. They're selling very quickly. And houses that are not taken good care of, houses that are not staged, that are marketed well,
yep,
they're sitting.
Yes, because in February, what houses could you sell? All of them, any of them, wherever they were, whatever the condition was, right? Because the demand was so extraordinarily high. Now imagine being a buyer in today's market. You're still decided that you're willing, instead of paying 3.25% on your interest rate, to pay 5.4, or maybe tomorrow 5.1, or the next day 5.7, you're still willing to pay that, right? And you're out in the market, you are going to be a little bit more particular about what you're willing to buy. So we can control price and we can control condition. And those are the two things to control, right? Now I'm going to raise a question. You go to a listing appointment and the seller says, and Tony, I might just go straight to you on this one. The seller says, yeah, thanks for meeting with me. I know you're the best. I heard you're the best. You know, it was really Shane that told me that. But apart from that, you're the best in the business. And I get that. And everything you're saying makes sense. But I just don't know that right now, especially as we're approaching fall and school, that right now is the time to sell. I'm thinking maybe next spring or next summer. If you think it's right for them to sell now, what is your conversation with them now versus later?
I would just ask, you know, what's your reason for moving?
Okay.
And I would ask them questions that lead down that road. I wouldn't ever try and convince them that now is the time. I would drill down on what their reason for selling is.
Okay.
And then I would ask pointed questions that say, you know, well, okay, does it benefit your situation greater now based on your term, you know, your conditions, what you have going on?
Yeah.
Is it okay if it ends up being another 2 to 5% less than value is today in the spring?
If it adjusts, right?
Yeah, if it continues to go down the track that it's going, and maybe it stays the same, but maybe rates are a little higher, you know, and then going by, and I would talk about it like that. But as soon as you start trying to push and say, hey, you really need to list now, like it doesn't work. You have to drill down on what their reason is, and maybe their reason isn't strong enough. Someone's reason's got to be really strong to move in general. Otherwise, they back up.
Well, and they called you for a reason, and you got the appointment for a reason, and they took the time out of it
Sign the listing now.
Yes, that's another good point. Regardless, sign the listing now. Did you hear that? Sign the listing now. And this is coming as we approach fall. Sign the listing, get some photos taken of the exterior in the next 2 months before the leaves fall. And whether you're going to put it on in February, March, April, you're going to be ahead of a good time to, you know, market the house then. You know, so get these listings signed and hold on and take your time then to do the work on the house to get it ready, because next year it's highly probable that house is in poor condition unless the market shifts dramatically in the opposite direction it's going. You are going to have these houses in extraordinary condition to get them sold, right? We're going back to what again should be a real and clean, fair market. People put their houses in great condition. You've got good, solid buyers who are willing to pay fair market value for those homes. That's when we have real estate lists. Rarely happens. A couple months in 2015. That's what.
I've got a question for you. How are you handling conversations with buyers right now? Because with sellers, I know it's a lot of like, you got to make sure we're pricing appropriately. But with buyers being so scared, do you have any specific scripts for like that first meeting of like the hey, here's who we are, signing contract type of thing?
Yeah, we just did that yesterday, Sherry, with the new other town buyers. We just had a conference call with them, and I think the number one thing they're asking, what's the market? Well, just what I said in the beginning of this meeting about the sky falling and everything being up in the air. And what happened is in 3 months, the dust settled and people went back to what we considered normal. They're looking at a 6% rate over the last 40 years and saying, yeah, okay, it's not 3% higher freaking me out. It's 6% over 40 years, pretty dang good. I'm okay with it, right? And so the buyers are asking us, and if you have more to add, it would be awesome. But the buyers are asking us, you know, what's the condition of the market now? They were asking, should we rent versus buy? And that was pretty easy because the rental rates are so escalated right now. Yeah. You know, the rental rates.
Absolutely. Right now.
It's just crazy. I don't know what's going to happen with them, but right now they're really, really high. So the conversation that we had with the buyer is right now, actually, you know, what you heard about coming to Minnesota and the way the market was, because they're coming from Vegas, it was the way the market was and the way the market is in Vegas, is that the dust settled. And now we're in a position where we, and both of us were agreeing, we're like, Sherry actually said it. She's like, we are way more comfortable working with buyers right now because, and I'll try to quote you, you were like, hey, we're going to potentially get into a house that you really like, and it's going to be at a good, fair price. And you may not be in multiple offers. You may be the only one, which means, this is a part of our conversation, you can do an inspection again. Yay! And we can get inspections. We're scheduling inspections. Our inspector's busy again, finally. you know, which is really good for literally both sides of the transaction almost always, you know, and for the transaction closing. So, so that is a big thing, is that the comfort level with buyers right now in the market for us is significantly better than it was. We did everything we could with all the different tactics and stuff, you know, but it wasn't fun and it wasn't great.
That appraisal gap coverage was kind of freaky.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? Is anybody feeling a little bit of an after effect of no inspections and appraisal gap coverage? I mean, there's just a couple of weird situations where normally we wouldn't have people calling saying, hey, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. You know, and so, well, of course, you just open the door, you open Pandora's box to all kinds of uncertainties when you went into a house without an inspection. So that's gone now, right? So there's a much better environment for buyers. Okay. All right.
This is just the Market Center 2022 versus 2021 in July.
Well, this is here. Now we'll roll through this pretty quick, but this is good. 2022, 2021, and this is.
So you can see closed units this year. Yep, you can see
we're up and
down.
this is taking volume. That's good.
Yeah.
Let's see, sold down. Contracts written down a little bit. Closed GCI. Okay, good.
Interesting how the GCI is up with the volume and units down and closed.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think we had another big commercial. Sometimes we get a big commercial deal or two, and it can change those numbers up a little bit. So,
okay.
Yep.
What's next?
And now
yeah.
spin the wheel.
Oh, spin the wheel. Let's do this. This is because we wrapped it up. So thank you.
Yeah. And remember, you guys go down to the barbecue. Yeah.
Lots of money, man.
So, but yes,
all want
it could
be $8. You are getting at least $8.
But and you guys feel free after you come up and spin the wheel. And also anyone who tagged us in social media. It looks like that wasn't updated, but we're going to do anyone that tagged us in social media in July, coming up and also take a spin. So, and listings coming up, and then head down to the barbecue, and I'll see you guys down there.
All right, let's spin the wheel.
Awesome. Good job, guys.
Do we want to do one? Nope. Are you sure?
Yeah. Can I have Jacob?
Down in the parking lot. Yeah. I'll be quick right now. I'll be quick. 30-year fixed 5.5.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what, now you're getting a little cut. That's what happens when you got an attitude.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm going back next Wednesday.
Hi. Oh, how many do you know? Oh, you take us all. One more to take us.
Yeah, my younger sister starting at St. Thomas.
That was
I'm never from now on. I got like 3-1.
She's home.
No, I'm next.
Come on up, Wendy. What do you got?
It's gone. What's over? I'm gonna run with my car.
You need to worry about it on everything. All right, Jordan. All right, it works.
40.
Nice. One. I think you have several. Another one.
For the year. Yeah.
Oh, another one. Come on. Let's get that 20 again.
Want to do a backup offer?
He said right now.
5.
Writing up.
Did you tag us at all on social media?
Standard form, you know. For backup.
How
do you state in there?
All right, what do you got, Jeff? One, and you guys, are you guys tagging us on your social media? Hi.
Right now, is it like?
Keep that in mind. Tell your daughter. And come down to the barbecue.
And I've never had.
So they're buying
Never-
like 1,000
I
at a
had
time.
a guy right back.
One investor come and buy.
And I was desperate.
Oh, just a little more strength.
That happens. I route them each week for $1.
Homer, are you coming up to Homer? Yep. Did I give you the dollar?
That's it, because they want to.
Great. How about it?
Becomes effective then.
One, you
Like
guys
the
taking
closing
us on
date's
social
kind of
media, make sure you do that.
Well.
I know, but here's what.
Come on, Garrett, spin a little harder.
So many investors at will be able to sell these packages for. The demand is
Seller, would they actually,
I know someone got a 20, I saw it.
would they wait to sign it until
I don't
cancellation?
think so. 10, I
Sit
don't
there
think
with it,
so.
Getting 3.5.
No, it is.
signed by the buyer.
You have to sign it, but I'm not.
Right.
There it is.
All right.
What do we do?
But that's why you want it right now.
All right, come on.
I'm only saying that because I'm only saying that.
Nice.
And nice start, nice start.
So I've never had anything.
Number 10.
Thanks for holding this right down.
Yes.